All right, so today we've got Mr. Paul Mort.
Which camera am I looking at? That one? Hello?
All of them.
All of them.
At
Jesus
once.
Christ. All right. Thank you for having me, Chris Brown.
You're very welcome. Mr. Paul Mort is originally my first mentor, and we had a business together. He's mentored me. I've helped him. He's doing incredible things, helping people think better, feel better, do more shit better.
It's wild, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's wild, that.
Considering that was probably...
Fuck me, man. Yeah.
But yeah, so he has...
I'm interested to see where we're going to start on this.
Yeah, me too.
Because we could start at the start, but we'll be here till fucking January.
The start. Oh, and we did that episode as well. For anybody that's listening to this, if you want to get the backstory and hear about when we had weed brownies in Spain, then go and listen to Paul's episode
We
that
did
we
a lot
did.
of jokes together.
Yeah, on on his podcast. But I want to get like really...
I just remember when we did that podcast, well, two things. One, me ma listened to that podcast.
Yeah.
And she learned things about me that she didn't know,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But also, me defining memory of that podcast isn't the fact that we did it in a cramped hotel room,
Yeah.
right? But it's the fact that you were telling me things that I'd done that I didn't even know I'd done.
You'd forgot.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Isn't that mad?
Wild. Yeah, we've fucking hell, we go back a long way and a lot of things. I feel very honored to watch your journey
Oh, thank you, mate.
from being somebody that really got me started in a direction. You and Dax is going to come on here as well. Very
Definitely.
key, pivotal people in my early career. And then to see where you're at right now. The last thing that I thought you would ever be doing is teaching mindset stuff to people, if I'm honest, frankly.
Well, let's face it, when we first met, my mindset wasn't it was a bit volatile, to say the least.
But you've always been good at making money. That's like the number one thing that I think you've always done. No matter what you've done,
Yeah.
you've always been able to like pull it out the bag, make money.
Well, mate, that's one of the first things that I learned, and one of the key things for any business owners, they get caught up in the wrong shit. They're worried about, should I use Zoom or fucking Skype? Should I use Google Meets or Zoom? What domain name should I fucking use?
What
no
camera
one
should I
fucking
get?
cares, mate.
What mic should I buy?
Aye. No one cares. Your business lives and dies on sales, so just fucking master that. And guess what you can do when you do that? Anything you want.
Well, yeah.
You can do anything you want.
Any business if you learn
Any
sales
business
marketing.
you like, if you learn sales marketing and how to deliver a service, like I could shut this down tomorrow and no one else will really understand this apart from me and you, but I'll read.
Yeah, read.
You know what I mean? That means I'll be okay. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I think if I think back to the early Unstoppable days,
Ooh.
MMIC, early Unstoppable, I think it was around 2017. You come to me and I was like, I need some help in my ads. Like I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
I think you were charging like $5,000 or something at the time.
Charging for $5,000.
For like 3
We were
days
doing
or
like
something.
a 3-day thing, and then a 90 days after. And I think what happened then was, and in fact, I did a keynote on this at IFS in London. I did a keynote on it at Warwick University, and I did a keynote on it in Edinburgh as well. Yeah, I did do the same keynote at 3 different events. Yeah, I did.
You did, yeah.
I did. I got better each time as well. But anyway, I was doing a keynote about this, and I was like, do you know what? I sat on that clip video that's what blew it up. I sat on that video for about 18 months because I was scared of what people might think of it. I was scared in case my ma seen it.
Yeah.
I was like, what if my mates see it? What if my dad sees it? What if my fucking Nana Eunice sees it?
Yeah.
They named the storm after her. She's that cool. Nana Eunice, by the way, I also took off in that last Friday, you know? So do you know that plane that you saw landing on one wheel? That was at the airport that I was at on the same day
Yeah.
at Heathrow.
Fucking hell.
And then we took off. Check this out. The storm was that bad. We did a 9-hour flight, business class, and they didn't have any food or drinks
Nightmare.
because they couldn't get it on.
Side note, Paul goes off on mad
I
tangents.
do go off in mad directions, but there we go. Nana Eunice didn't see the video.
Yeah.
But I also sat on the same like 7 or 8 clients, no shit, for about 9 months.
Yeah.
And that's very frustrating. Very frustrating staying in the same. And the thing is, I knew how to make money. And I sat on this video for ages. And I remember, actually, I seen one of this fucker's videos the other day as well. There was this one guy, and I always used to see his ads, and he used to trigger the shit out of us. I'm like, this guy's fucking shit. I'm much better than this guy.
Yeah.
But he was running ads, and I wasn't really running ads because I had this thing that I was sitting on that I was worried about what people might think of it. I was worried about backlash. I was worried about all the shit that I might get. Because a lot of the listeners will have seen this video now because it's been seen. I've got a censored version and an uncensored version.
Yeah.
Total, probably about 11 million views, which is mad. Now, that's the one that I sat on for so long because I was worried. Isn't that mad?
Well, it's funny as well because I remember
It's you that made me drop the video. You said you need to drop this video.
Yeah. And
you need to edit it.
Originally had the fucking Deadpool thing.
I was dressed up as Deadpool. I dressed up as Deadpool.
I think it was like a 15 or 16-minute video, and I was like, you need to take that fucking first 6 minutes, drop that, and just go right into that story.
Yeah. And then that went a bit mad. And when I go to speak at an event, even if it's not my event, I'll say, people might not know who I am, and I'll say, who's seen this video? And fucking half the room puts their hands up.
Yeah, well, you think 11 million people have seen it.
It's a lot of fucking people. Mate, that's how I got Fury on the podcast. You see me video.
So you consider this, right? There's 11 million people in that target audience of like, I think it's targeting like 25 plus males. Now, there's only, 70 million people in the UK.
It's mad.
So if you think about 25 to 50-year-old males, it's the majority of them, like 60, 70% of that segment of population.
Yeah, it's mad. I don't count the Americans because they're always telling me I should have found Jesus and shit.
Or jumped. Some of them.
You should have jumped. You should have jumped. Should have jumped. You should have found Jesus. I'm like, give us his number.
Well, it's a big thing though, right? Because I think two things you said that I want to pick up on. I'll come back to the same clients over and over because it is frustrating.
It's very frustrating that. And funny enough, I was writing this coaching thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, one of the things that I had to put right was why I created this coaching academy. And the 3 different phases of my business have all been the same. I got my boot camp thing to a certain phase, then got stuck, frustrated, pissed off, closed it down.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just coaching normal people.
Yeah.
Then I did the boot camp franchise thing, told people what to do. They didn't do it. I got pissed off, closed it down.
Yeah.
Then I started doing the business and marketing thing, coaching like what I did with you.
Yep.
Got pissed off, told people what to do. They weren't doing it. I got frustrated. Then I started Unstartable, told people what to do. They didn't do it. And I got pissed off and frustrated, was ready to shut that down. But all of those got to the same point. It wasn't just because of this coaching thing, just because they got to a certain point where I was like, what the fuck do I do next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even maybe you've just hit your limitation of like, in those things, you've hit your
back then
capacity.
I couldn't coach.
Yeah.
I hit my capacity and I wasn't coaching, I was mentoring.
Yeah.
Mentoring and coaching.
Just telling people what to do and they weren't doing it. Yeah. You weren't helping people find their own thing.
And it's marginal because whenever I speak anywhere, they're like, Paul, can you come and speak on business? I'm like, aye, about coaching. And it always triggers another speaker because everyone talks about, oh, you need to be working on your business. I'm like, well, I did 1.4 million last year and I do all of the coaching.
Yeah.
Stick your fucking on your business in your back fucking pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In your back pocket. And it's an interesting thing. And that's because A, I learned how to coach, but B, I've built loads of businesses that I hate. You know what I mean?
Well,
and you know, it wasn't even the businesses that I hated. It was the tasks that I thought that I had to do that I hated.
You know what mostly happens, and I see this with the gym owners and what we've done over time, is like they think their first hire should be coaching because they don't want to be getting out of bed.
Yeah,
so
me too.
They go and hire coaches.
It's not even that. It's just because that's what they get told to do.
Well, yeah, and then they end up doing admin and fucking
Counting toilet
administrating,
rolls.
all that shit that they hate, and then they hate the business.
Yeah.
Where they should just put themselves on the stage and build a fucking band around
do the
themselves.
thing that you love the most.
Well, it's like the rock star who's the singer being like, all right, I want to push this band. I tell you what, I'll be the fucking manager and I'll get the venues, I'll do this, and I'll put someone else as the singer in front. It makes
Mate,
no sense.
Having an agent help with that as well. It blows his head off because he manages a lot of people. He's worked with a lot of people. He did fucking 50 Cent's European tour, man. It's mad. And he literally is just like, Paul, all you need to do is turn up and put on your show.
Yeah.
And that was a big little breakthrough for me as well. I'm like, hang on, if I can have someone else doing all of that, why can't I have a business where all I have to do is fucking talk?
Exactly.
I remember Dean Jackson. You know Dean Jackson?
Yeah.
Dean Jackson invented the squeeze page, invented the 9-word email, the super signature, smart as fuck. He said to me, Paul, you're like a big cow. And he has this concept of cows. And he said, you just need someone to milk you. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll tell my wife. But what he said, you need someone to milk you, Paul. He said, but the thing is, the skill that you got is talking. So he said, with that milk, if you can talk and perform, he said, you can turn it into cheese, you can turn it into butter, you can turn it into whey protein, you can turn it into cottage cheese, whichever fucking weirdos eat that. You can turn it into all sorts. He said, so just focus on what you're good at, which is talking.
Well, and that was a big thing for me as well, coming to this studio and having this produced.
Yeah.
Like I've wanted to do a show for a long time and I've wanted to do content for a long time and I never find my rhythm with it. Now I just show up for like an hour and a half and then my team take that, edit it, and it gets distributed and I don't have to do anything. I show up for an appointment,
Mate,
do my thing.
It's easy. It's easy. The only challenge that I have with the podcast, the reason I've done one for so long is because no cunt wants to come to South Shields. Built this studio and I'm like, do you want to come and do the podcast? But when you come to London, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And I refuse to do it on Zoom because it's shit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So it was a really interesting insight. All of that's been like, and had an impact on me where I'm like, do you know what? Yeah. Why should I follow the crowd who, do you know what I mean? I don't want to do cash flow forecasts. I don't want to do fucking wages. I don't want to do fucking bank. I don't want to do any. I don't even want to manage my team.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Me either.
So I hire someone that manages the team. It's a madness.
That's like, and that's it. Just put yourself front and center and let everybody else do the thing. Like, get people in place. It's like,
and people talk to me about this quite a lot. Well, you can't build a business where you just do things you like all the time. I'm like, well, you kind of can. You still have to eat shit for a bit. Like, I've still had to eat shit.
Oh, fucking yeah.
You know what I mean? I've still had to eat shit to get where I am. But again, I'm going to eat shit for as limited a period of time as I can. Well, and then I'm going to get someone else to do it. Here's the mad shit. The things that I hate doing, there's people in my team that fucking love doing it.
Yeah.
I've got Kath who works for her. She gets a fucking wide on. Apparently that's not a thing either, by the way. Honestly, she gets so excited about spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even want to look at that.
Yeah,
because I need a spreadsheet for that. I'm like, don't even show it.
Yeah.
But she gets so excited about it. Me, I hate it. So it's kind of like, and I suppose this is from my work with Dr. John DeMartini about values. I don't need any encouragement to talk. I don't need any incentivizing. I don't need any motivation. I don't need any reminding to do it. I don't need to put it in my schedule. I'm just like, well, this is what I do.
You show up
I
and
impact people.
And I think as well, it's like the big thing that you've got to remember is that every business that you've had to this point has been a multiple six-figure business until you started putting people around you.
Yeah.
And then you broke 7 figures.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Putting people around us where I wasn't just trying to get them to be a carbon copy of me.
Yeah.
Just copy what I do, it works. I'm like, it still does work. But then I'm like, actually, I'll get people around me who do what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, no one's ever started a business to do shit that they hate.
Well, yeah.
You start a business
of your passion.
You stop doing shit that you hate so that you can start a business, and then you end up doing shit that you hate.
And you have to do it for, like you say, for a period of time. You've got to do it. And like you wouldn't have built the business you have now if you hadn't had that decade of eating shit. And I think that's huge. But it's getting to I think what happens with people, they get greedy around the revenue that they make, and they get to a point and they're like, they would rather not pay someone to do the job.
Yeah. Yeah, because
and keep the money. Yeah, they see it as cost, but it's actually the opportunity cost of not doing it is double or treble or quadruple what the business could be.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just because the way they look at staff. Staff are assets. Staff make you money. They don't cost you money.
Yeah. The
staff that cost you money, I always say this, like people ask me about ski. You got to consider I'm doing that with a team of fucking 4 people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Remember Ryan Lee?
Yeah, yeah.
I still talk to Ryan Lee. I think he's cool as fuck. And he says, I've got like this micro empire. He said, you haven't got huge outgoings. You haven't got a flabby business. He said, you haven't got a flabby business. You've got a fucking small, stress-free team who are all cool as fuck. I'd hang out with them all for free.
Yeah.
Like I'd hang out with them all outside of work.
Yeah.
I never have to ask them to do overtime. They'll stay if something needs done. They'll come to fucking events with me in their own time. They'll come and see me speak at events in their own time. Do you know what I mean?
And you got to remember though that it's a fucking good job.
It's a pretty cool fucking job. We play really well, but also it's fun as fuck. Yeah. They get to hang out with cool people. They get to meet really cool people. Do you know what I mean? And it's but I'm doing this with a small team, and it's just because it's from the learning, but also I've gone against the fucking grain a little bit. And I see my staff as they make me money either directly. Mm-hmm. Mac, for example, his job's to get 15,000 leads this quarter, and he'll do it. His job's to start mastering these YouTube ads. That directly makes me money. But people like Kath, who works for me, Kath will do £10 an hour tasks, £100 an hour tasks, and I do all the £1,000 an hour tasks. So I've seen this thing. Where I learned about most of this stuff was in Strategic Coach. Did you know I'd rejoined Strategic Coach?
I didn't. But
back in the game. Leslie's joined as well.
I should join it with you.
Leslie starts next month. You should join that group.
Yeah.
So she's joined. And they have this thing called unique ability, which is to have you build your business where you do the things that are unique ability. And then I saw this other thing from a program called Action Coach, and they call it the skill fun matrix. You want to spend almost all your time as a business owner doing the things that are the most fun, but also are the highest profit producing activities.
Yeah.
Which is, for me, that makes most sense.
Common sense.
I'm like, what? I want to spend my business doing more of the shit that I love and less of the shit. In fact, I want to spend my life like that. Do you know what I mean? There's this fallacy in business. I'm sure it was all these Marines that are suddenly business experts that came out and have just told us that we have to fucking suffer to build it. Do you know what I mean? I think there is a bit of that.
I mean, Goggins is like that for me.
I
watch his videos, but then I think I wouldn't want to be like you because you
never seen
feel
a
like
fucker smile.
you see, you suppress a lot of that. Like
it's just like I get it.
You know?
I get the hustle. I get the grind. I get the sometimes you have to eat shit. But I'm like, for me, I don't think you have to do more shit you love to in return get more shit that you hate. I think you got to take the rough with the smooth. There's no upside without a downside. I'm like, why would I deliberately seek out doing things that I hate? This is why people can't get in shape.
Well, it's like
they're trying to force themselves to do shit that they hate.
Dude. It's like jiu-jitsu, right? My whole jiu-jitsu game right now, and it's literally work. I've had my guard passed for like 4 different classes ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm never letting anyone mount me or put me in side control ever because it fucking sucks. The equivalent in business is like, go on, get in side control and pressure the fuck out of me and make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, if your strategy doesn't need to have
you don't
pain
need to learn
involved.
side control escapes if no one passes your guard.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So same in
and
business.
I think that obviously, listen, you sometimes have to do things that are hard, but why purposefully build a plan that involves doing shit that you hate? For me, you're setting yourself up to lose. And guess what? It might take me longer to get to where I want to be financially, but I'm not going to hate the process. Exactly. I've done that too many times. I might not even get to where people are like, oh, you should hire a sales team and that you'll make way more money. I'm like, but I don't want to hire a sales team.
Yeah.
I'm okay taking longer to get to the destination. In fact, I'm okay not getting to that destination at all.
Yeah.
If I was still here, earning the same amount of money with the same team in a year's time, I'd be cool. I wouldn't want to be doing the same stuff. Like, I want to fucking do this UK tour thing. I want to fucking get flown to Australia to speak. I want to get paid to go to Dubai on holiday. I'm doing Puerto Rico next month. But if I got the same income, I'd be all right, as long as there was growth in other areas. But I wouldn't want to, someone said double your income, but you have to do loads of shit that you hate. I'd be like, nah, you're all right.
And that's also a superpower as well.
I could hire somebody else to do the shit that I hate.
Well, yeah, you could hire a sales manager to build that team.
Yeah.
But I think that's a superpower. It's a skill. And that's an area I personally, over the last 18 months of what I've gone through, I've struggled with. It's like finding the clarity around what you actually want versus what you think you should be doing.
Yeah, it's huge that.
Or what the people, like, it's not.
Every mastermind I've ever joined says the same thing. You need to hire coaches.
Yeah, and it's not peer pressure. It's perceived peer pressure.
Yeah.
It's a perception of what you think other people think you should do.
Yes.
And it's fucked up.
Yeah. You know the biggest challenge that people have listening to this? Guarantee you, someone's already saying this. It's all right for you.
Yeah.
It is. It is. But guess what? Sometimes I have to turn down opportunities because I'm like, travel without my family for more than 3 days? No. I'm okay. Do you know what I mean?
And the luxury of where you're at now is the byproduct of the shit that you've been through.
Yeah.
Like
So we're actually saving people a bunch of time, bunch of heartache, bunch of frustration. Like, you don't have to say yes to everything. You can say no to as many things as you want.
It was interesting when I was on.
People don't know what they want their life to look like. That's the biggest problem.
That is the biggest problem.
So they don't
know what to say yes and no to.
So they've got all these jigsaw pieces and they're trying to put it all together. All the corners are the most important part. The size, but actually no, it's the picture on the front.
Yeah,
that's the most important part. And people have no idea what they want that to look like. One of the most common questions I get asked right now is, how do you find balance? What is that?
Yeah. How do you know you've got balance?
People don't know. They don't know what that looks like. And your version of balance is different than mine. Everyone's version of balance is different, but people don't know what it's supposed to look like. So they just guess, and then they can never hit the standard because they don't know what the standard is.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's a madness, yeah. So yeah, it is all right for me, but I've had to go through shit to get here and kind of make it up as I go along and learn on the way. So the benefit of having podcasts like this and coaches like you and coaches like me is that you don't have to figure it out yourself.
You don't. It's like, do you remember James Malinchak? We went to that event in LA.
Fuck me, aye.
You lasted about 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, jeez, aye.
We were a 4-day event in LA. After 2 hours, he gets up and he's like, I'm gone. And this was back when Paul was...
I was off my fucking face then.
Yeah.
Hadn't we been on a fucking bender the few days before?
Possibly. Yeah, we were. Yeah,
that was the weed day?
Yeah.
Shit.
We travelled from there to LA, which the weed rowdy. Yeah.
Mm.
So he said, people think that experience is the best teacher, but it's not. Other people's experience is the best
100%.
teacher. So learn from other people's mistakes. You don't have to make the mistakes yourself in order to fucking know that it's a mistake.
Yeah, 100%. John DeMartini's like this. All Dr. John does is speak. That's all he does.
Yeah.
Speaks, teaches, researches.
Yeah, he said he's never drove a car in 25 years or cooked a meal.
Never cooked a meal.
Yeah.
Mad, innit?
Yeah.
Can't cook, won't cook, don't have to cook. Can't cook, won't cook, don't have to cook. He doesn't sing that. My mate Alima sings that. But I'm the same. People like, someone said to us the other day, do you do any housework? I'm like, no.
No, me either.
Is your wife not bothered about that? Do you not share the responsibility? I'm like, well, no, she doesn't really do any either. Took Leslie, my wife, a long time to get her head around this. Like, I'm like, how many 7-figure business owners do you know? That's what she is.
Yeah.
Because it's not just me.
Yeah.
She's the bigger picture. She's the planner. She's the organizer. She's the long-term thing. I'm just like, how we're going to make money today.
You're like a tornado and she's
I am.
the cleaning up
really
team.
well. Aye. But I'm like, you don't know no 7-figure business owner does their own cleaning and washing and ironing.
No one.
But people would rather do that because the perception that they're saving money.
Or not even the
That's
perception
what
of
happens with
saving
ads.
money.
I'm like, why did you kill that ad campaign?
Yeah.
You fucking nugget.
People, listen, I said this to my guys the other day. You would rather not do it at all than go slow and optimize on the way.
Aye.
Like
Yes.
people want to be so far down the line and they want to do it so well and so fast and so efficient that they don't start at all. But
Well-
what if you just started bad and got better?
Yeah, I had this exact conversation with Russell Kane yesterday. And then this morning, at lunchtime, I had my friend Jeff Ram. Remember him?
Yeah.
Jeff Ram, he came on a training for the guys in my program and he said the same thing. People were like, where do you start with public speaking? He said, just at the start. And I said, you know what, Jeff? I said, most people get so caught up in the best way to start that they don't get started at all. Like, there isn't a fucking best way. Just the best way is to start. Don't matter.
Well-
Get your shit emails out the way early. Get your shit videos out the way early. Get your shit
Get your reps
jiu-jitsu.
in.
It's, you know what it's like? It's like, I'll go to jiu-jitsu when I get my blue belt.
They're basically the same, yeah. Or, I want to be a black belt now
Aye.
without the work.
I'm not going. I'll go to class when I get my black belt.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? There'll be a lot of fitness people listening to this. It's like those clients that say to you, I'm going to come and train with you when I get fitter.
Yeah, I want to lose some weight. I want to lose some
What?
weight. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, business people do the same thing.
I'll bring my car for a service once I've serviced it.
Aye, it's mad. It's mad, aye. It's mad calls, I remember them. Mate, I've done paid Uber some money this last 6 months.
Yeah, Paul's been banned from driving.
You know what's been interesting with the ban, actually, is that one, it's maybe get better at admin because I actually only had 6 points for speeding.
Yeah.
The other 6 were for not spending the ticket back on time. But actually, in those taxis, it started off where I was like, I wish this fucking taxi driver would shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
To me, making that 30 minutes going to Washington for jiu-jitsu, really, really productive. Catching up on WhatsApps, catching up on email, writing emails, doing coaching calls, locking people in for certain things. Fucking.
Well, this gives me a major insight as well. To have the lifestyle, you don't have to buy the lifestyle. So DiMartini doesn't drive. You can Uber and get that experience without the cost.
Yes.
So like if you wanted to experience what it's like to have a chauffeur, just fucking Uber like 1 day a week to work and back and be productive in that time.
Very productive. That's why I get the train.
Yeah.
You know, oh, well, why do you spend first class on the train? I'm like, you wouldn't believe how much money I get done.
Yeah.
How much work I get done in that first class.
Oh, yeah.
People say that about business class as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you'd rather save the money and feel like shit when you get there?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
No.
I remember coming back from San Diego. I'd been in Miami. I hosted a mastermind in Miami like fucking 6 years ago now. And then I flew from Miami to San Diego. Family flew home. And from San Diego home, there was an upgrade like 800 quid for first class. And I was like, I'm in. Because I knew it was a nighttime flight. I could sleep and wake up in London like fresh with no jet lag.
We did that last week.
And then I'm considering, what is the cost of jet lag for 5 days and me not doing work? Like one sale would pay for that 10 times over.
Easy.
And so you've got to understand, like it's a value cost thing. People see money, they're attached to it. I'm not into everything Grant Cardone says, but I seen a little clip like on Instagram before, and he said, when I studied rich people, they weren't afraid of spending money.
Yeah.
And like spending money to make money. He was like, I made money and I held on to it.
Yeah.
He's like, when I started getting wealthy, I started spending
no
more
one
money.
does
I wasn't
that.
concerned about, I was concerned about making more money, not
Well,
spending.
I think this is the difference between creators and consumers, right? Big difference in creators, consumers. I hear this all the time. The two of the biggest things that I think hold people back in terms of what they can produce income-wise, particularly in making that jump from 50K to 6 figures or 6 figures to 7 figures, is two things. Number one, they look to save money before they look to create money. When it's a tough month, they're like, where can I save money? Where can I save money? And
Where
I'm
can I
like,
cut back?
where can I make more fucking sales?
Yeah.
Who do I need to contact?
What can
Who
I
do
do
I
right
need to
now?
email? Who do I need to text? Who can I reactivate? Who's contacted me before that I didn't close? You know what I mean?
And it's
Like,
only
my
the
first
discomfort of
instinct
doing
is
stuff.
always like, how am I going to get... Because my thing is, and Craig Ballantyne talks about this all the time, I'm sure you've mentioned it to me as well,
Yeah.
is like, if your first thought as a business owner isn't how am I going to drum up more business today, you're a shit business owner. Full stop. And I think the second thing is, this might trigger a few people, is you've got to stop thinking about getting to a certain amount per month. Because for me, and there's nothing wrong with this, but for me, that's an employee's mindset.
Yeah.
Business owners don't get paid monthly.
No, they get paid.
Business owners don't. Yeah, they get paid. Well, they look at. No business looks at how much did we. No big business, 7-figure business, 8-figure business looks at. Hey, how much money did we make this month? No one does that. They're all like, what was this quarter like?
Yeah.
What was this year like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to shift out of that mindset because it's going to keep you stuck. Because you're not going to make really the same amount every month.
Well, and with some
and that
foresight
makes people
and
want to.
planning,
That makes people want to quit. Let's just say, oh well, I want to make 60 grand a year. That means I need to make 5 grand a month. They lose their shit when they have a month that's 3 grand.
Yeah.
They
But
lose their shit. That's when they start cutting back on their ads. That's when they start that's when they start binning their coaches off. Oh, I've only made 3 grand this month. They start panicking and then they get stuck. And it's that mindset that keeps them fucked.
Well, I actually said I've banged on about this for years. It's better to break even on ads and buy customers for net zero cost than not advertise at all.
Me, I don't make any sales on an ad.
It's unbelievable.
I don't make
to
any
me.
sales whatsoever on ads
It's
because I don't even try.
It's like if you spend 10 grand on ads and you made 10 grand and you brought in 40 customers, 40 of those customers, like 60% of those are going to buy again.
Mm-hmm.
You do that every single month. You build a big business.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can build a 10K, 20K a month business on
Do
25,
you think it's
30 customers
because
a month.
and Leslie had to get her head around this? I remember she used to hassle you about it.
Yeah.
Because she used to just see the bill come out.
Yeah.
Say, what's this?
Yeah.
And then eventually she was like, actually, we're paying about £1.80 a lead or something, and then we'll convert them after this long. Average customer lifetime value is 2.5 grand. Yeah, let's fucking triple the ad spend. It's because they look at the wrong, or they only look at 2 numbers.
Outgoings.
So they make, how much did I make this month?
Yeah.
And how much did I spend on Facebook ads? They don't look at the bits in between, the bits after, or the bits before. I have all that data now, and that is one of the biggest differences. Me, in 2019, in 2018, I did 80 grand.
Yeah.
In 2019, I did 300 grand. In 2020, I did 1 million,
Yeah.
1.1 million, and last year I did 1.4.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to do that unless I looked at those.
The data.
In fact, I don't even look at those numbers.
Yeah.
I have someone else that does that.
Well, yeah,
I'm not
just
the maths
present it
guy.
to you, yeah.
I'm not the maths guy. Like, what do I need to know? The same numbers that I look at now actually are the vanity ones. Right? I want to know how much money I'm making, but what makes my fucking balls tingle is the old number that I used to think was the wrong number to look at, but now I just realize the one that motivates is how many people are in my programs.
Yeah.
That's the wrong number for most people to look at, right? Because the vanity number,
Oh,
they forget about the pound number,
yeah.
right? But I know the pound number, but I'm like, okay, how many people do I need to get in my program to make that much money?
But that's
So
an
I've got
impact
both
number as
numbers.
well, though, right?
It is an impact
that's
number,
like,
yeah.
That's your filter is like how many people am I impacting,
Yeah.
and knowing the knock-on effect
Yeah.
of that. Like how every 100 people that go through Unstoppable 28,
Yeah.
60% of them are going to upgrade, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Yeah.
So
I
people
love
aren't
to know
looking at
those
that.
numbers because
Yeah.
then I'm like, then I can go, how can I get one person in that program to do?
Yeah.
What do I need to post? What emails do I need to send? Who do I need to follow up with? Who do I need to text? How many texts do I need to send on my list? Who do I need to call today? Who do I need to get one of my team to call? And that's a better mindset to be in. I remember Ryan Stewman, friend of mine, mad fucker, calls himself a hardcore closer. He said to me, he said, I remember having this conversation with me. He said, you know all you need to do to make £1 million? Make 3 grand a day.
Yeah. That's
And
it.
that changed it for me, actually. Because $1 million, let's just say someone listening is trying to get to 6 figures. It's fucking 300 quid a day.
Yeah, it's nothing.
That's
one
nout.
£300 program
That's
a day.
nout.
If you spend 8 hours a day,
And then
so one £300 program.
this for me gets people dialed in. Why are you fucking around with them stories?
Yeah.
Why are you fucking around with
Unless
that?
that's
Yeah, unless it's contributing to a
byproduct
sale.
of it. Yeah,
like
exactly.
I think a lot of people, they just don't know where to start with their marketing, so they try and do everything. I'm like, how am I going to make 300 quid a day? And the biggest thing that took me from 80 to 300 was learning the personal touch. Learning the personal touch took me from 80 to 300 because I stopped thinking about, okay, what do I need to post today?
who do I need to contact?
Who do I need to contact? Who? What one person? Who's reached out to me? Who's commented on my thing? Who's emailed me back before? Who have I worked with before? Who am I working with right now? And how can I get that one deal over the line?
And it's the human touch as well, because as everything goes more automated, more
Yeah.
technology, less humanness, the more humanness you put into your
Yes.
stuff, the better it will be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I have this thing that I've been talking to my guys about, which is that if we look at making sales like fishing, I think there's 2 approaches. There's the one that everyone wants to do, which is cast a net out and hope people swim into it,
Yeah.
which works,
Yeah.
right? This is sending an email with a link in it. What works for me is a fucking that combined with a fucking harpoon approach. one at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time. This is why I don't just say, click here. I mean, for me live show, I'm not going to do that because it's 30 quid a ticket.
Well, yeah.
And people tend to spend 30 quid. But for a higher end program, I'm not just going to put a link to buy. I'm going to be like, reply to my email. And then I'll do the personal touch thing. One sale at a time. That's how $1 million quid's made.
Well, yeah.
One sale at a time.
One deal at a time.
One deal at a time. One conversation at a time. And then, of course, you have things like webinars and things like that. But the reality is, it's the personal touch that gets the deal, more deals done.
Systems will get you to 7 figures, but to get to 6 figures is hustle, having a great product, and that's it.
Well, we still do the personal touch, but I don't do it on my own all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not replying to every email.
Yeah, it's going to be impossible to do.
My team will reply to the emails. My team will reply to DMs. My team will do the sales calls if they need to. My team will text people. My team will WhatsApp people. And
I was listening to, I can't
my team will chase missed
today,
payments.
It was basically to do with building a 7 or an 8 or a 9 figure company is doing the basics at scale. Yeah. So like doing that personal touch, but at scale, like how do you maintain
Everyone thinks
that?
I'm doing something special. I'm still doing the same thing. Put a fucking ad up, send emails until people buy or tell me to fuck off and die. That's still what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And people think I do something different. I mean, clearly, I've built an audience on Instagram, built an audience on Facebook, did this podcast thing, did this live show thing. But those are just fucking cherries on the top.
That's a little bit of guerrilla marketing, a little bit of like paid ads. It's what I noticed.
My overall thing, when I go on holiday, right? Yeah. People are like, "Oh, you don't take your phone on holiday." I'm like, "Do I fuck? Yeah. I'm on holiday."
Yeah.
Oh, well, did you not even check your emails? Do I fuck? I'm on holiday. But the things that never stop, even when I had this long COVID shit last year, paid ads, daily email, done.
Yeah, easy.
Everything else
non-negotiable.
Everything else is like, do you know when you have like the fitness guys, I love this one where you have like a period of importance or a pyramid of importance where you'll have nutrition at the bottom.
You'll have
then you might have
calorie
sleep.
deficit.
Yeah, then you might have exercise, and then you might have supplements to be at the very top. Yeah. Well, the bottom for me, paid advertising, email.
Yeah.
When I'm busy, sick, or I go on holiday, everything else goes off. I'm not posting on my socials when I'm on holiday. I'm on holiday. Kids will think I'm a dick.
Against the grain as well.
Kids will think I'm a cunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad, what are you doing?
And then what are you actually doing it for? Do you know, like, are you post on holiday just to say you're on holiday?
People say to me when I come back, they're like, well, how have you got photos then? What, do you think my wife doesn't have a fucking phone? Like, both my kids have phones, man.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's not that hard, is it?
Max jumped on an Instagram live with me the other day. Literally, I'm on Instagram. He's not back from school yet. And it said, Max Mort requested to be on your video. So I just had a conversation with him with about 200 people watching. What you doing? Why you not home yet? Like, he's like, and he said, I don't even know you knew 200 people were there. But in fact, actually now it's a little bit harder to do that because you need so many apps to get on holiday.
Yeah.
Particularly at Disney and Universal, you got to show passports this, passports that. And funny enough, the Uber Eats app came in very handy.
Oh, I can tell you. The things that I see that you do really well from the outside that maybe people don't see, you do this probably better than anyone I know. Number one, you're an exceptional networker socially on digital. So like you'll stay in contact, in loop with, comment on, give praise to, share a lot of people's stuff. Like people don't see that on the...
it's an interesting thing that I don't even think I'm doing this.
No, but you do it naturally and I notice it and I see it. And
I do it with people that I like.
Yeah,
I do it with people that I like.
Yeah.
Not just people that I want. There's no... Because you see this a little bit. You see the snakiness.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, mate, you're snaking me. What you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not like a facetious way or like
it's not even a
strategy.
It's not
just a natural thing.
It's people that I want to build relationships with and that I like. I see people try and do it to me all the time. They start tagging me and shit. That's got fuck all to do with this.
Yeah.
And mate, why you tag me in that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then next thing you know, I'd love to come on your podcast. I fucking bet you would.
But your thing, it isn't a tactic and it's not a strategy. You do it naturally and you do it in a way that's genuine. Like you will share something, you'll comment on something, you'll give credit to, you'll keep in touch with.
Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't necessarily come natural to me. That's something I have to
It's an interesting thing, man.
Yeah.
Aye.
Number two.
I always think that I've got a fucking solid network. I do have a solid network.
Because of that, that's the... You probably don't even like really think about it because you just do it, but it's because of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like networking, but at scale and authentically keeping in touch with people. The second thing you do really well is just show up every day. Like you're really, 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 really consistent.
I am very consistent. Mate, I send 6 emails a week for fucking 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And there's barely been a break.
No.
And I think that's another thing.
No, it hasn't been a break. It hasn't been a break.
There you go.
No. I've never sent less than 6 emails a week for 10 years.
There you go.
That's mad, isn't it? Yeah. Even when I was ill as fuck, Because someone's always on my case.
Yeah.
They're going to send an email to you. Someone on my team will be like, where's that email? And I'm like, they'll sometimes say, do you want me to just pull one? And I'll be, aye.
Yeah.
And because I've wrote so many,
Yeah.
just send. Every single email that went out last week, I sent this time last year.
Yeah.
If anyone notices, I'm like, fuck me, I'm glad you're paying attention.
Well,
when are you going to buy something?
Both of us have studied with Ben and Settle over the years.
Yes.
He's the same. You'll have promos and you'll run that. Like, I don't know why people don't do that. They think they have to create something brand new all of the time. If it worked once, it's going to work again. You've got a new. If you're advertising all the time, and you're bringing new people in your list, you've got a new body of people.
And that's what I look at, mate, because I'm like, hang on, I sold out Newcastle to 1,000 people. Why am I trying to write new emails?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah.
Why am I trying to write new emails for this launching this London thing? Like, there's no need. Them ones worked.
And I don't think people think of emails as assets. What they look at their email is like, I've got to send an email for a marketing campaign today. Then it just disappears into the ether. They probably just write it into the biggest mistake people do is they'll write it straight into their email software, send it, and they've got no.
Oh mate, we've got some mad shit that my team are doing now.
Yeah.
I write it in notes on my computer.
Yeah.
I send it to Kath. She sends it to 2 different email addresses. She HTMLs it, she formats it, HTMLs it, sends it to 2 different email addresses that only get my emails to see if they go to promotions or spam.
Yeah.
If they do, she edits them.
Yeah.
And then they go. So our open rate's fucking sky high right now because Jamie Alden's actually got this really cool thing that Jamie would have got it from someone else, but he said the biggest difference he's on 200,000 followers now, Jamie, on Instagram. He said the biggest difference he added like 80,000 or something in the last 6 months. He said what he did was, he said, you can brush your teeth twice a day, but if you don't floss, it doesn't matter. So he just started flossing on his socials. And what that means is he just started tidying up a little bit. He started using consistent branding.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't give a fuck about that, but I do that with my emails.
Yeah.
People come back to me emails I'm working. I'm like, what's your open rate? How many clicks do you get? How many replies do you get? They didn't even know.
Yeah.
How many emails go to spam? How many are bouncing? Don't even know.
Yeah.
The hard thing about email, and this is why people give up, because you don't get a round of applause.
Well, yeah.
This is the hardest part about writing a book. There's no one there going, what a great post. No one's sharing it. Or at least not you can see. There's very few people that reply to an email. But you don't get that.
Unless you're asking for it.
Nah, that's what I mean.
Sometimes you do and you don't get it.
Someone will like your post just because they are ma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My ma likes all my posts. Well, most of them. But you know what I mean? Like my ma would never reply to an email saying, great email, Paul. Do you know what I mean? That's the, so people don't.
If people are looking for that, they're looking for the wrong thing anyway.
Yeah.
That's like saying, would you buy me product? And they go, yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
But like would you buy the product? Like actually buy it then?
Click this then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's such an invisible force of being consistent for 10 years that you don't even see as well. Like people aren't just going to buy off one email.
Mate, there's so many people tell me that it doesn't work. All right then, I'll send all this money back. How about that? You keep not emailing and I'll take up all the space in the email. Same with them. What's working for us reader out now is emails working amazing. Text, amazing.
Yeah.
Direct mail, amazing.
Yeah.
And the top two there, the first one is because the only reason it's not going to work for you is because you're shit, inconsistent, or you only email when you've got a campaign, like you want to sell something, or you don't know the numbers. The second two is because no one wants to spend the money. 50 pence a text. Who the fuck wants to spend that? In fact, it's not even 50 pence a text.
It's like 2p or something.
Something like that. I sent 14,000 on Wednesday. Yeah. 14,000 emails saying me live shows happening in London.
Well, like as well.
And direct mail's fairly expensive. It's a cost. But that's why people won't do it.
It also works because of relationship though. Like the email lays with the like if you went and send an email every day and you send an SMS to someone and it didn't really have a relationship with them, it's not going to work.
Domino's, fuck off, man. And that's Friday.
Yeah, no,
I'm trying to cut weight.
Never
on
buy
your
Domino's unless you've got a deal on, because you've always got a deal on. It's always 50% off 30 quid pizzas.
It is, aye.
But yeah, it's not going to, like the foundation is email. That's your rhythm of communication. That's showing up. It's just building trust. Like if you just show up every day, people are going to trust you more.
Yeah.
If you only pop up when you want money.
Well, people feel like that you're a part of their life and they're a part of yours. I think this big thing I see with businesses, I'm like, especially people that are in, most people listening to this are going to be coach, consultant, mentor, whatever. They don't let anyone in.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows about Me Too arseholes.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about that I'm banned from driving. Everyone knows that I tore my pec. Everyone knows that everyone knows the names of my kids. In fact, does me head in this. People are like, where's Nina? Why is Nina not on?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Should be good that she's not here. Yeah. Like, Nina just picks up my phone now and does a live on Instagram on my account. Has anyone got any questions for me? She said to me the other day, she said, Dad, she's a right joke. I said, Dad, what's your biggest take home? It's like, you fuck little shit house. Little shit house. But people know about that. Now, it's not that, I don't think that you have to share everything, but I'm like, people buy from people that they like. And I don't like someone. You got to think about all of the people that we know who are coaches, mentors, consultants, and let's say in the fitness industry, all of the ones that are fucking crushing it are the ones that you know probably the most about.
And also it's like trust. It's hard to trust something that's so perfect and polished. And this is something that I think...
trust people that tell the truth.
If you look at me over my career early on, I was like very selective in what I would share.
Yeah.
And more recently, like I've opened
Me,
up
I didn't even fucking swear back in the day.
Well, yeah.
Didn't even swear. And then people come to me programs and be like, oh, you're a bit rude.
It's like you can't trust something that's so perfect. And I think the more that you have like damaging admissions, and you share like the darker side of you, or the struggle, or like the things that aren't going so well. Or,
do you know, I think sometimes I think about, does it hold me back? Maybe it does sometimes. I was talking to Russell about this last night, actually, Russell Kane, and he was like, do you think your Geordie accent holds you back a little bit? I'm like, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming less and less of a problem.
Yeah.
But I think that, and this is why I signed with HarperCollins, because they wanted to sign me because they were starting this new thing called Harper North. And they were like, there's no one from the North is represented. In fact, I did an interview. Who was it for? This is a mad thing. I did an interview in January. Radio Newcastle have us on all the time now. It's class. And they were like, what was it like for you being from the Northeast, going into these London offices where they're all highbrow and that? Like, they seem to think with an issue. I was like, actually, it was R-read. But maybe I just didn't notice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there must be a stigma about Northern people and books. And
there's definitely a stigma around, Northern, there's less money, less wealth, more poverty. The further south you go, there's more
we're a bit
affluence.
rough. We're a bit rough diamonds. Rough. I was the first person that they signed. Actually, the other kid's from Liverpool, I'm sure. He did the Forrest Gump route across America. Like, he ran across America 5 times.
I did, yeah.
Be a sick guest for your podcast, actually. And he'd be keen. Like, hit me up.
Link.
Yeah, he's from Liverpool. Literally moved to the US, quit his job, went to the US, and ran across America 5 times.
Shit.
Yeah, it's mad. Because obviously the weather difference.
Yeah.
Well, it's like going to a different country.
Cold and
it's like going to 5 different countries in one country. It's mad. Yeah.
It's like I just think it comes back as well to what you're saying with your video. You like had that little bit of fear about sharing, like that was like the real.
Yeah, but
this was like, I'm struggling, but this was like, this is the fucking
shit.
Depth of the struggle.
This is the depth of the struggle.
And you were afraid around that.
Here's the mad part. At that time in my life, I was probably coming out with, I didn't give a fuck what people think. Because I didn't realize that at the time, the people that say that the most are the ones that care the most.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't give a fuck what you thought, why am I telling you?
And also, if you didn't actually give a fuck, you'd be a bit of a psychopath, to be honest. Like,
yes.
You have
to
say
that all the time. Of course I care what people think. Just not enough to stop it from living a life that I love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there is that limitation massively. Like, I think I've experienced it 1,000%, where you're concerned about people's opinion of you, but ultimately people are always going to draw an opinion of you anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get like a little tactical on this.
Yeah.
You were like always yourself. You never censored.
Mm-hmm.
Another person that'll be getting on, Paddy as well. He's exactly the same. He is the fucking same.
Paddy's a madman.
Every day is the same as he is in the limelight.
Yeah.
Paddy the Baddie, that is. He'll be coming on soon. And I think it's like a little bit of a superpower, but it's also, it's not that you don't feel judged or struggle with it, because it's fucking hard. Like some of the stuff you get, like you should have jumped. Like,
but you saw me getting the heckles at my show.
Well, yeah.
Heckles at me. Hang on, you've come to my show and you're heckling us. Sit the fuck down.
That was fucking hilarious, actually. What did you say?
The woman.
The pissed
she
woman.
joined me program. She's class. So she said she was pissed as fuck and she kept talking, didn't she?
Yeah.
I was like, hang on a second. I asked the questions here, not you.
Yeah.
I've only asked you what was the best part of your year.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Paul, you've changed me life. You've taught me so much. And I said, I clearly didn't teach you how to handle your fucking drink, did I? Mate, do you know what? It was such a good comeback that she was fucking clapping the comeback. Yeah. She was clapping us. She was like, aye. But yeah, what were we saying? Sorry.
Yeah, just to think like how you handle that every day. Because obviously when you do, and I think it's a limitation for a lot of people, like they don't want to use the word scale. They don't want to grow so much because with like that upper boundary becomes
what's
the
funny,
criticism.
mate? People used to say, oh, I have a fear of success. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit.
No.
But now, I get that now.
Yeah.
Because the bigger you become, the more of a target you become. I'm just cool with that. I'm like, the higher up the ladder I climb, the more my arse hangs out. And I'm all right with that. I think tactically, I kind of sometimes I do deal with it. I write an email about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a video about it. I'll make a post about it. Most of the time I just don't, because I'm like, if I'm not going to get anything from it, there's no point. I think that's after it's happened. Before, do I worry about it a little bit? Mate, it still happens in random places. Like I'll go to Strategic Coach, for example, and I know when I get there, someone will be triggered in the room by my energy.
Yeah.
They'll almost be like, who the fuck is this? Can you fucking slow down a bit, mate? I'm like,
no.
You fucking speed up, daft cunt. It's a really, those kind of events for me, when no one knows who I am, and I'm not on the stage, because that's a really weird thing about some of these events. I'm so used to going
and being
on the stage, because I hadn't been to an event like that for so long that I was like, ooh, this is a bit weird. It was lush, actually. Didn't have to put on a show. Didn't have millions of people asking me fucking questions until the end anyway. Didn't have loads of people asking me questions and taking photos, which I love, by the way. But this event was really weird. And I was like, why the fuck are these people so triggered by me?
I'll tell you why. Because you're a mirror for them. And like what people don't see.
They're all financial advisors now.
So on my retreat, I went on the retreat.
Oh,
Before.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Scano, friend of mine, he'll come on the podcast as well. And we were doing this, the cold water dip in the lake, and he'd done stuff with Wim Hof before.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because he's an inspirational character and he's quite a leader, and I am that, like in a group of people, like I naturally fall into that role. So it was me and him were quite prominent in the group.
Yeah.
And then we got to this bit and he was like, he got everybody doing like the Wim Hof, like, whoo, ha, whoo, ha. And
the horse stance.
He led the group like amazingly well, and it triggered me a little bit. Like fuck, like
who the fuck's this guy? Like?
Yeah,
yeah.
And so the way that I handled that was like, I didn't really say anything at the time, but we were sharing a house together. And his room was across the way at mine, and I just it was like 10 o'clock at night, just before going to bed. Just knocked on the door. I was like, listen, mate, I just wanted to say you fucking handled that like a champ today. Your leadership was incredible, and I just wanted to let you know that it triggered me a little bit.
Yeah.
Only because you're showing up in ways that I know I'm not,
that's
that I can.
That's
like,
really interesting.
I know that I can show up in that way, and I'm not currently.
Yeah.
And you were like a mirror for me. Like,
it's really interesting, that. Yeah. I think that happens quite a lot with success. And it's that people that the people that are triggered by you are never the ones who are ahead of you.
Yeah.
Or who are at the same level as you. It's always the people that are like, fucking hell. And it's usually they get reminded of their potential, or that
unclaimed potential.
That they could be doing more.
Yeah, that's
like
exactly
your
what
success is a reminder to them that they could be doing more, but they see it as me making them feel less than.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. But
shadow, it's the shadow.
Dealing with it before me, now I'm just like, if I've got something to say, I almost owe it to people to say it. If people get triggered by it, that's their responsibility, not mine. Now, I don't go out my way to trigger people, but I'm just going to say what's on my mind.
You just be playful with it sometimes as well.
Yeah. I get away with it a little bit because I do that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I never give a strong opinion on shit that I don't know anything about. Yeah. That's why you never hear me talk about COVID.
Yeah.
You never hear me talk about vaccines. You never hear me talk about the war, this Russian-Ukraine thing, because I haven't got a fucking clue about it.
Yeah, you're not educated enough to give an opinion.
So I'm not, that's the problem with today's society. People have strong opinions on things they know fuck all about. I only give strong opinions on things that I have personal experience in.
Or give a fuck about.
So and that's why I have no problem giving strong opinions, because I'm like, well, I'm speaking from my experience, not anyone else's, mine. Yours is different, that's fine.
In jiu-jitsu, sometimes I hear it. There's like white belts giving other white belts advice. Yeah. I'm like, just shut the fuck up and train.
I ain't giving no one advice.
Like, it's so funny.
The only advice I give someone is I'm rolling with a white belt, and you know when they're fucking, the button and that. I'm like, honestly, chill, you're going to Garcia. Stop. And also, if I'm mounting you, stop going straight up and down, because I'm just going to go straight up and down as well. Just chill, mate. Hey, Harry, relax, man. That's the only advice I'm ever giving anyone, because I've been that spazzy.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's also a form of like sedation in a way, isn't it? Like giving advice.
Oh, of course it is.
And talking about that stuff, it's distraction and it's avoidance. Like, what do you like by having this conversation when you're a business owner out in public? What are you actually avoiding that you could be doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking about this stuff? What benefit does it have to your public persona for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what else could you be doing to drum up business and change lives right now?
It's not that. It's not talking about that. It's not that free Facebook group. It's not that. It's not this. It's not that. It's fucking talking about the other person's problem. That's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at, mate. You know what? The most common response I get to a lot of me posts is, "Are you talking directly to me?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm tuned in to what people's biggest challenge is. Just put this new 20-minute course together with a workbook and that. And I wouldn't even did it if I don't ask questions if I didn't ask this question on my social, what are you struggling with the most right now? I wouldn't have even covered it. I did it in a webinar, and as I was doing the webinar, I was like, this is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it was this topic of overthinking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even put that in the webinar. Never mind put a lead magnet together that'll get me fucking, this lead magnet will be 20, 30,000 leads easy.
Yeah.
It may even end up, I'm putting it together, I'm like, this is so good that I think there's a fucking real paperback W.H. Smith level book in this.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have known that unless I asked the people that already follow me what he's struggling with the most right now. They said overthinking.
Well, that's
I wouldn't have even considered putting that in because I'm not an overthinker. Do you know what I mean?
You're an overspeaker.
I'm an overspeaker. I could do with thinking a little bit more. But this is why my balance with my wife works, because she is an overthinker a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
She'll see the downside. I only see upsides, which is why sometimes I make ridiculous decisions.
Yeah.
She brings me down and keeps my feet on the ground. Most of the men will be like, she's negative.
Yeah.
Negative her, she's not supporting us.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank you for pointing that out, because I would have fucked that up.
Yeah.
So I was saying to you before about this guy in Puerto Rico. He's got us a speaking gig with Gary Vee, flying us out of Puerto Rico. Texted a couple of times yesterday. I was like, this guy's a prick. This guy's a prick. I'm going to tell him to fuck off. And then Leslie looked at the text. She said, actually, what's happened, Paul, is one of them came through as a text message. The other ones came through as an iMessage. I thought he sent the same message.
Twice.
And I was like, this guy's a fucking prick. I would have told him, mate, I'm out. Doesn't matter. Stick your fucking Gary Vee gig up your ass. But she seen it. I wouldn't have seen it.
But that's growth in you, because the old you would have just
tell me shit.
Yeah,
I was sending me dog shit in the post.
You now, like
my team are like this. They pull my pants down all the time.
You've learned to give space to it.
I have.
And you've learned to take, which you never used to be able to do, take advice off other people.
Oh, hugely.
That might have a different perspective to you.
Hugely, because I learned if I'm John DeMartini, there's two sides of the coin. And the best way to get neutral about something is see the upside and see the downside.
Yeah.
I don't see downsides naturally. Yeah. I only see upsides naturally.
So you have a process.
So I have a team around me that show me the downsides all of the time.
Sometimes I need asking that question.
Sometimes I need to show me the other way.
Yeah.
Do you know
what
I mean?
is the potential upsides?
I also love it when they give us a downside, because then I'll be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So they'll be, last year I remember I said in December, I'm going to get 200 people in Stockwell 28. We never had more than 110. I was like, I'm going to get 200 people. They're like, are you sure? My fucking watch. We got like 260. Yeah. I said, just do this for me. And I had to work hard to get it, but they'll show me, they'll just pull me back a little bit sometimes. Paul, why have you said yes to that?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? You said you weren't doing them anymore. Why are you saying to people you might come on that fucking podcast on Zoom when they haven't even started it yet? And then they'll cancel shit for me. Kath will be like, Paul, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Why have you said yes to that? You're not doing it. No, I got asked to do a speaking gig in November, and I kind of wanted to do it, and I said yes. Kath was like, you're not fucking doing that. You didn't run it through the process.
Yeah.
So she'll be like, everyone will be like, that's negative. We should be saying yes and that. I'm like, no, actually, having people around you that bring you down, that can see the downside, that can see the drawbacks, that can see the negatives, is actually gets me way more neutral and like make more objective decisions. Some people, though, need to be the other way around.
Yeah.
Like some people need someone to show them the upside. I'm not that person. But a lot of people are. A lot of people
you are in
naturally.
Your program. Like, no, you are the upside for some people in your program. The way
yes,
that you coach.
I am. You're right.
You'd be like, I need to turn this ad off, and
I need people to show me the upside in jiu-jitsu, because I'm like, fucking hell, I'm crap at this. I'm not getting any better.
Yeah.
And then someone will be like, well, actually, I only subbed you 10 times in that round. Last time I rolled you, I subbed you 13 times. Not even kidding. That happened the other day. But like sometimes, especially in jiu-jitsu, you need someone to tell you you're doing better.
Yeah. Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nice to be recognized, acknowledged.
Sometimes we need both. We need both sides of the coin. We need opposites. We need anything else is diluted as fuck. Some people call that bipolar.
You said something on your Instagram in a quote about environment.
Oh, environment trumps willpower.
There you go.
But only 100% of the time.
But that's exactly what you do. You cultivate an environment where you've got people who give you the upside and the downside. That's a skill.
And they get you to think bigger. So like, my agent, I remember when he said, we did the book deal and that. Said, Paul, you want to do this? He said, I've seen you speak. He runs IFS. So he runs these big events. I've seen you speak. He said, you're fucking class at it. He said, I want to do a live show with you, like what James Smith does. James Smith's manager as well. And I was like, Reed. And I said, how about this? Because we're used to speaking in hotel conference rooms, right?
Hiring our own events.
He said to me, he said, Paul, if you think I'm doing Paul Mort at the Marriott, you can fuck off. Next thing I know, he's booked a fucking theatre. I'm like, oh shit, well, I better fill it now.
Yeah.
And then I would never have done that on my own. Even though I like to think I'm quite optimistic, I like to play a big game, I set hairy ass goals, I needed someone like that to get me to think bigger. And I think that this is a great thing to look at actually, is that when you're around people like that, if it was just me trying to do it on my own, I'd be like, that's too big. But for him, it's normal.
Yeah.
So when you get around people that are playing a bigger game, you say, actually, well, this is normal for these people. And they're not any different to me.
Well, yeah. Like,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of my good mates, Tristan, does 5-6 mil a year. And stuff that he just says is so natural and normal to him. And I'm just like, fuck, like that's...
When you're around it enough, though, it becomes normal for you.
Exactly. It starts to, it's like a thermostat for you. You start to adjust to that.
And that's the power of the environment, because you'll have other people that are going in the other direction. And I think this is what, I don't know if I put this in that overthinking thing, but it's been on my mind a lot recently. I think most people, particularly business owners, spend so much time and energy trying to convince people that what they're doing is right. What I mean by that is they try and convince their family and friends who aren't in business that they're doing the right thing. So to spend more energy, they're trying to move this, let's just say the goals of a 6-7 figure business is over here. So they've got to face that way. Yeah. But they spend most of the time facing that way, trying to convince and justify to these people.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Who aren't on the same journey as them, that what they're doing is right, rather than getting around people who are going in the same direction.
Got a little metaphor for this.
And he's, let me just finish on this one before you do that, mate. I can't wait to hear it. Is that it doesn't mean that you have to cut these people out of your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly,
everyone thinks that, oh, I have to cut out all the... I did that and I ended up as a lonely fuck in Marbella looking in the mirror, a big fat cunt. I ended up doing it. I cut all the toxic people out. I cut all the negative people out. I told the world to go and fuck themselves. I was left with me. And then I'm like, actually, you don't need to leave them behind. You need to just accept that they're going that way. You keep going that way. If they want to come with you, they will. You don't have to say, oh, well, I'm cutting you out, you're negative. You just keep going. Yeah. You know what I mean? If someone doesn't want to come with me, I'm cool, but I'm going there.
The problem with cutting everyone out is that you're still with you and you partially are the problem.
That was it. Like, my thoughts about the people that were the problem. It's like this, right? This is the way I put it. If I'm going to Dubai, I don't take the huff with you because you don't come with us.
Yeah.
I just go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And I go with the people that want to come with us.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm going to Dubai. Do you want to come? No, I'm not coming. Can't afford it. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's full of fucking dicks. It's full of influencers. It's full of this. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not then going to say, oh, well, I'm never speaking to you again.
I know.
I'm going to Dubai and I might not come back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm going to meet people in Dubai that are already there. That's the equivalent of having a coach, somebody that's already there, people that are in the same direction.
And like, people don't see investment in environment. Like, you're investing in a coach, but you're also investing in an environment. Like,
yes.
I was 50 grand a year in a mastermind traveling to LA 3 times a year. The people that I met in that event have given me far more impact than anything else that I got from the program.
That's how I got this Gary Vee gig, because there was a guy in Wake Up Warrior.
There you go.
Saw what I was doing, said, I want you. I thought you were taking the piss. I said, Puerto Rico, was that in Tenerife? Do you know where it was? Fortaventura, Alex Fortaventura. And but that happened from that environment.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing, the environment thing, because I'm like, it's interesting because it's a really interesting thing, this. People say to me, it's all right for you. You've got fucking 35,000 followers there, 50,000 followers there. And they think I'm a big deal. I'm like, well, actually, Smith's on nearly 1 million followers.
Yeah.
I've got a fucking long way to go to catch him.
I remember when he was on 30,000, do you know what I mean? Like,
I remember when he was on none. Yeah. He was in MMIC.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a really interesting dynamic of that, because we get stuck in these comparison frames. I don't think I'm anywhere near. And other people are like, oh, you're so far ahead. I'm like, actually, I'm not.
It's just
they show me what's possible.
What are you measuring? Who against?
That's
what's
what
your comparison?
I get inspired by that.
Yeah.
I don't get triggered by it.
Or limited by it.
Nah. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm better than him.
Jordan Peterson talks about this.
I'm better than him on stage. If he's done the Sydney Opera House, I'll do it twice.
Yeah.
I'm on him. But that's the thing. He's shown what's possible. And people
it's a signpost.
And yeah, people are like, oh, comparison's a thief of joy. I'm like, actually, that's incorrect. Comparison is inspiring as fuck in the right frame.
Well, you can look at upsides and downsides of comparison as well, can't you? Like, it depends how you're comparing and what you're comparing. And
compare the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Compare the whole thing. Yeah. So, and I think just like, that's the thing about getting around people that are playing at a higher level, is that, like I say, what they're doing is normal. And I get asked this on the podcast. When you're going to get someone normal on your podcast? I'm like, everyone that's been on is normal.
Yeah. Your perception of who they are.
They're just normal people. That's how I know them. Do you know you know what I mean? I know them because they're normal people. They've just done a few things that are extra special in their life. And the only reason they did the things that are extra special is because they started sooner than you.
And it comes back to what I said at the start. Most people would rather not do it than do it badly or slowly and get more efficient and better over time.
Yeah.
But the metaphor is that the wake doesn't power the boat. So if you look at like most people are equivalent, they're in a boat and they're going forward, looking at the horizon.
Yeah.
But they think that the water that's left behind is actually powering them and moving them forward. They're so focused on the water behind the boat that they don't realize the engine is their vision moving towards.
Sick.
Like, so that's what you're saying. You're busy. You want to get your 6-figure business here, but you're so concerned about what's happening behind that you're never going to get in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah, and who's on the boat with you and who's not on the boat with you. It don't matter who's on the boat with you. I'm going there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want for me.
If you don't want to come, if your partner doesn't want to come, that's cool. Listen, it doesn't mean you've got to leave them though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leslie hates me doing these live shows. It's my favorite thing ever to do. I mean, imagine 1,000 people giving you a round of applause, right? Standing fucking ovation, your fucking favorite song, confetti, lot of confetti.
Yeah.
I mean, your 2 kids on the stage with you.
Cannons.
T-shirt cannons that didn't work. But just that many people in a room giving you a standing ovation just for telling your story.
Yeah, who wouldn't want it?
That's amazing. Leslie hates me doing it.
Yeah.
She gets nervous as fuck. She pukes up and that. I'm like, you're not even on the stage. Shut up. I'm worried about what you're going to say. I'm like, I think it's a bit late for that. I think everyone in there knows what's going to come out my fucking mouth.
Yeah.
I don't, but they're going to know. But also, don't make any money. She's like, you're not doing another live show. I'm like, listen,
it does.
I get that you don't particularly want me to do it, but I'm fucking doing it anyway.
These are the things though, like these are the invisible forces in business that they do 1,000% that makes money, but doesn't directly make money. And it comes back to the ads as well. Like if you're not measuring, you're measuring ad spend, revenue, but also that you collected 1,000 leads this month. That's like the invisibility that we don't see.
You're totally right, mate. And funny enough, I was talking to my agent about this a couple of days ago. As soon as I got back, I rang him. And we're talking about who do we need to invite to this fucking show in London. TV producers.
Yeah.
We've invited 3 publishers already.
Stephen Bartlett would be a good invite.
Stephen Bartlett. We'll have TV shows, we'll have radios, we'll have magazines. We've got Esquire magazines coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so there's no real direct money off the show. 30 quid a fucking ticket. But for my profile, it's fucking massive. I mean, you've seen the show reel from my show, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? How many people that are doing what I do can do that?
But it's also like it's a positioning tool as well. Like this Puerto Rico thing doesn't make money, but you're speaking on stage with Gary Vee.
I lose money because I was telling you about the business class thing. I lose money.
You don't lose money, you lose time as well.
Yes.
And potential growth in business, whatever. But like there are byproducts that people aren't measuring. And because they're on, it's like they're standing on the scale and looking at the scale weight and judging your entire health and fitness based on that. It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's a good job I didn't do that after America. But it's interesting that because a lot of people see that about the week no phone.
Yeah.
12 days no phone I did.
Yeah.
Right? Well, not no phone, no Facebook, no Instagram, no YouTube, no Gmail, no LinkedIn, no WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And people, they see that as lost opportunity because I could have been DMing people and making sales, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have WhatsApp people and closed deals? Could clients have left? That's people's biggest thing.
Yeah.
If a client leaves because I took a week off, they're a fucking shit client and they're an arsehole.
Yeah.
Full stop. So they see that as lost opportunity. But what they don't know is I've got paid ads running, daily emails going on. But also when I come back, fuck me, I'm lit.
Yeah.
Because I've had real time off physically and mentally. Nobody will get what that mental refreshment looks like when you come back. Me creativity's insane. Me writing's insane.
I've got the itch back as well. Like
I've got the itch to go back to work.
Yeah.
No one ever gets that itch.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking ready. I'm desperate to go back. My business grows because guess what? To be able to do that, do you think my organization might have to be good?
Yep.
Do you think my delegation might have to be on another planet? Because my team are running my entire company.
50% of your company's
50% of my company's gone, dusted, done.
Yeah.
I've got to leave my business in the hands of 2 people who don't own the business and don't have any shares in it. So my delegation, that's real scale in there.
Leadership, management.
I have to.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of
keeping morale.
They'll fucking love it when I'm away. They hate it when I come back because I'm like, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? I've had this idea. Can you do this? Matt, can you make this video? Kath, can you send this email? Can you send a gift to so-and-so? Can you get them on my podcast? It's a bit wild when I get back, so they don't like it, but my creativity is crazy. But most people would say, oh, fuck, I can't go a week. What if someone emails us with an opportunity? I can fucking wait.
And most people
I'm saying, what if one of my clients leaves? What if one of my clients needs me? Like, well, you're doing, if you can't do that, here's the thing. When we had jobs, did we check our emails when we were on holiday? Did we fuck? We clocked out for a week. Hallelujah. Me boss calls, he can fuck off. But we can't do that when we're in our own business.
Well, it's like you're almost like codependent in a sense. Like,
yeah, it's not a business.
If you're concerned about what your clients think or what they do or whether they leave whilst you're going away, what are you actually running the business for?
Yeah, like, it made me focus on real systems. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird because I was talking to Jeff about this morning. Actually, we're talking about naming you, because everyone's like, why you shouldn't call it the Paul Mort Coaching Academy. Like, well, one, it's great for my ego. Two, it's amazing for my profile.
Yeah.
Well, you can't sell it. I'm like, I'm not looking to sell it.
Yeah.
What's your exit plan? Probably in one of those recyclable coffins. They'd be great. That's my exit plan.
Yeah.
That's my exit plan.
Box.
An exit plan would indicate that I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm not bothered about that. I mean, Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins has done all right.
He lives in a castle on his own fucking island.
Yeah.
Lives on an island.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But it's a real interesting thing that it made me. It's
said
made
by
me,
people who aren't doing it and haven't done it
all the time.
So, like, what's your exit plan? By people who are never doing it, never have, and aren't going to.
Yeah, it's a mad thing. It is a funny thing. I think about it fairly often. Like, I was thinking about it today because I was writing the course on the way here. I was like, should I call this Unstartable? I was like, no, it's got my fucking name. I mean, Mort's Code. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mort's Code. What else have I got? The Mort Method. I've got so many names for this coaching thing. But also, like I say, I love having a profile. I love that. I love getting stuff for a selfie and that.
Your book as well as Paul Mort Will Save Your Life. Like, it has a theme. And
it does, it does. And it means that, actually, if I ever want to do hire coaches for Unstartable, I've got the perfect fucking clients coming through.
I just think as well, like, it comes back to that thing. Well, people who say that, like,
depends what you want. No one really sets up a business, I don't think, with the intention of selling it.
Not unless it's like a corporate or
you tend
like
to get paid. You get paid for your hobby.
Yeah. Not a coaching business anyway. Like, a coaching business is because you're a coach. It's naturally in you. It's who you are. It's everything about you. Like, if you shut down your current business, you would be doing some coaching capacity in the next thing anyway. Because it's not about what you do, it's who you are.
Yeah. It's a strange little thing, but I like to have fun with it. Do you know what I mean? This is the great thing about being able to sell and having run so many businesses. If it doesn't work,
whatever,
it's fine.
Yeah.
If I do have to change the name of it, so fuck. Do you know what I mean? If someone's like, "Oh, I'd love to buy your business, but you need to take your name off it," I'll be like, "Oh, cool, fine."
Well, most people.
How much do you want to give me for it?
If you actually think about today's modern day, the brand is the personal brand. So people are actually buying the leverage of your personal brand anyway. So it'd be stupid to take that out of it.
That's what I mean. You've got all these big corporates. Guess what they're doing to get that, to boost their post or to get more views?
Influencers.
They're getting influencers.
Yeah.
They're getting athletes. They're getting all these kind of people to do it for them.
Exactly.
So
you think Nike, when they released Jordans, that they wanted to take Michael Jordan's name off it?
Jordan didn't want to sell it.
And that's his equity. Like, that's his tradability.
I could talk about that. I could talk about this personal branding thing all fucking day. Because I'm like, listen, I'm gonna make me money working other places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about an end game. I mean, the thing is, you gotta think about this. How many coaching businesses do you know that have been fucking sold anyway? Do you know what I mean?
Few.
Very few for any kind of
take you off the stage. It's
for
not the same
retirement
anyway.
For retirement money? No. How many gyms do you know that have been sold for retirement money?
Nope.
Not many, unless they're a big chain that has a fucking board of directors and that. Do you know what I mean?
It's faceless though, like a pure gym versus a boutique gym. The boutique gym is what the gym is because the coach who's at the head of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's the personality, it's the culture, it's everything that they have. A pure gym is faceless, it's soulless.
Yeah. Well, that's why they keep changing ownership and names all the time. You've had Pure Gym, you've had the Gym Group, you've had all these fucking, do you know what I mean? They keep changing owners all the time. Yeah. I actually think that it's an interesting thing, the gym thing. I compare this to restaurants as well. Whenever there's any challenges, it's the cheapest ones that survive and the most expensive ones.
Yeah.
Anything that's in between are the ones that die.
Well, Ramsey's, why would Ramsey?
Mate.
Ramsey Street Kitchen in Liverpool, you know.
Is that?
Yeah.
Bread Street?
Yeah, Bread Street.
Have you been?
I haven't been.
You've got to try the beef welly. It's fucking banging. On Tuesday morning when we landed at 8, and at 9 o'clock, I'm coming through security. I'm on the phone. I've been trying to get a restaurant booking at this restaurant in Northumberland for 2 years, and I finally got a booking this week.
Nice.
It's like a Thursday night or something like, but so fuck. But that's the thing. Michelin star restaurants, the most expensive restaurants, fucking 250, 300 a head.
Yep.
Right? You can't get fucking booked in at.
Yep. There's a restaurant in my little
It's
village.
mad.
It's got 12 covers.
Yeah.
It books out quarterly.
That's what they do.
Like, release it and it's gone for that
This
quarter.
restaurant's called Hem. Hem. Like it's a Swedish thing,
Yeah.
Hem. But I'm like, that's mad, isn't it? I'm
Yeah.
going Hem.
Yeah.
Going Hem. It's mad. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'm like, it's the people in the middle that tend to get fucking crushed in it.
Well, because
know
they
what I
don't
mean?
stand for anything. That's why.
Nah. They're
Like,
a commodity, but they're not the cheapest.
The cheapest stand for being the cheapest. The most exclusive stand for the food that they produce and the quality and everything else. Everything in the middle is just ambiguity.
It is, It is, and them are the ones that are fucking dying and falling apart and not working. It's interesting that what was I going? I've totally lost my fucking train of thought. It's not like me, that is it?
No.
It's not like
Never.
me. It's not. Oh, that's what I was going to say. It's very random. Have you seen those Greg's tracksuits?
No.
Primark have launched Greg's apparel. Greg's all over it. Greg's tracksuits,
Haven't
Greg's
seen that, no.
t-shirts, Greg's pajamas. Aye.
Who's wearing that?
Just in case you wanted to buy them.
South Shields.
South Shields massive, aye.
Yeah.
I seen Vicky Patterson my morning. I was like, nah, there it is, look.
There we
What's
go.
he called the guy again on Joe Rogan's thing? Jamie. Get that up, Jamie.
Yeah.
Get that up, Jamie. Jamie, get that up. There it is. Actually, do you know what? It actually looks pretty cool if it didn't have the word Greg's on it.
I just don't know. I didn't understand it, to be honest.
Well, they had B&M's had B&M's Christmas jumpers in.
Well, little had little socks and stuff.
Look
as
at
well.
that, man. Fuck me. Greg's sliders.
I feel like this is like the Kardashian effect, you know, and the
Do you?
Kanye and like the
Do
Kanye
you?
effect. Yeah, I really do.
I heard about Kanye's new music video where he buries fucking Kim Kardashian's boyfriend alive. Do you hear about this?
No.
I seen it yesterday. Aye, so Kanye West has done a music video where he has him like a mock-up of Pete Davidson and fucking buries him alive in the video.
He also looks like that dude off Home Alone that shovels snow.
Who does?
He walks around in them fucking...
Pete Davidson?
No, fucking Kanye. walking
Kanye
around
is a
in
fucking...
them
when
boots
he's
all
got
the time.
wellies on.
Yeah.
He's a fucking character, him. He gives bipolar a bad name. He does, aye.
We've got about...
Mate, if I knock you off track with the Greg's thing,
Yeah,
I'm
you've
having that.
thrown me, yeah.
I threw
No,
him
we-
with a foot. He's now thinking about how can we fit pasty in the conversation.
No, we got like 15 minutes and I think we'll get a little tactical.
All right,
We'll get
let's
a
go.
little tactical.
Let's go.
So,
Let's have a quick fire
quick
round.
fire. Anxiety. How do we handle anxiety?
Handle anxiety by anxiety is a state. So first thing that people are going to understand is it's not a fucking disease. You don't catch it and it's not contagious. It's created and it's mainly created by people with a creative intellect. So you'll not find anyone that's really logical who gets anxious. The people that create anxiety, the one you got to think about it. Anxiety is where we invent problems that don't exist. We're thinking about things that haven't happened yet. We're in a situation, and you'll tend to confuse discomfort with danger. That was certainly my case. So my number one tip for anxiety is anything to do with the state has kind of three elements to it. I'd say the main three things. Number one, physiology. So start handling your physiology. Anyone that's all my
Fitness,
mates are like this. I hope they're
breathing.
not watching. Complain about anxiety on a Monday and Tuesday. They've been on the bag all weekend.
Yeah.
Mate, there's no fucking coincidence here. You're on caffeine all the time. You're out of fucking shape. Of course you're anxious. Your body's working fucking overtime.
Yep.
The second thing is what you're focused on will grow. So if I'm thinking about things that make me anxious, guess how I feel?
Anxious.
As fuck.
Yep.
So, hopefully I'll tell the flight story at some point. Actually, I'll save that for my live show, but I create anxiety on a flight when I think about being stuck on a flight.
Yeah.
So when I go on a flight now, this sounds ridiculously simple. That's why people don't like this. They're like,
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does work, full stop. Is I don't think about being stuck on a flight. I think about other things.
Yeah. Distraction.
I have a big list. My list's massive. I have a big list of about 30 things that I'm going to do, and I end up doing none of them, but I have a big list with tick boxes. And this flight that I was on last week, the Florida flight, I was a little bit more anxious because I was like, fucking hell, it's 9 hours. On the way out, the turbulence was fucking horrific. I've just done 4 hours in the car. There's a big layover. So I made a big list, tick boxes. So this could be magazines I'm going to read, books I'm going to read, instructionals I'm going to watch. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Video, DVDs, TV shows I'm going to watch, movies I'm going to watch, games I'm going to play, work that I've got to do, all these things to do. And then I got a little bit more anxious on this one. So then I put numbers next to them. Which order am I going to do them in? I ended up doing none of them. I watched 10 minutes of this new Vikings Valhalla thing and fell asleep.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? But I did that so that I had what I'm going to call diversion. Because I can't be doing these things that hold my attention whilst being anxious at the same time.
Even like the majority of that anxiety is experienced before you're even on the flight.
All the time.
So thinking about even just being active with a list is
But mate,
diverting your
I
attention.
don't look at that list. I don't create that list until I start to worry about the flight.
Yeah.
And the only time I worry about the flight, check this out, is when I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm only worrying about what the flight when I'm thinking about the flight. And most of the time I haven't got time to think about the flight because I'm solving problems. I have a very busy life. I love having a very busy life. I love being active. Because I'm not doing shit that I hate. I'm not busy doing shit that I hate. I'm busy doing shit that fires us up. So I very rarely create this anxiety. And when I do something about it. I prepare. I rehearse. This is why someone said, was you nervous before you got in front on the stage? I was like, was I fuck? I was excited. I couldn't wait to get on.
Yeah.
Why? There was one difference. I rehearsed like fuck. There was nothing that could go wrong that I hadn't prepared for.
Yeah.
I rehearsed, I practiced. It was more nerve-wracking doing it in front of 5 people in my office than it was doing it in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah, so you've not got the energy, the environment,
and
the
also
feedback.
You can't see 1,000 people. The fucking lights are too bright. But I wasn't nervous because I practiced, I rehearsed. Whenever I got nervous about it before, I either just distracted myself and why am I thinking about that?
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. One of my favorite anti-anxiety things is playing FIFA because I'm in it.
Yeah, yeah. Jiu-jitsu is the same for me.
Jiu-jitsu is the same.
You cannot think about anything else.
No, you can't. So I'm playing FIFA. I can't be anxious at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'll either distract myself then, or if I'm going to be in the future mentally, then I'm going to do something about it. So I'll actually say this. People hate it. There's a huge correlation between anxiety and not having enough going on in your life.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's also a huge correlation between your friends that share stuff. I said this to someone yesterday. People are not going to like this. I'm very empathetic for this Ukraine thing. I think it's fucking horrific, right? But there's a lot of people are getting triggered that I'm working with are getting triggered by all their friends who are sharing it. I'm trying to, Paul, I get that environment's important because environment's what you watch, what you see, what you listen to, what you read, what you eat what you eat, all of that's your environment. So, and your mind will adapt to it. I said, I guarantee that your friends that are sharing it the most are the ones that have the least going on.
It's also,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
you're not doing it.
Stuck in the house, on your phone, like very like closed in here.
And I say this, I've worked with a lot of people with health anxiety. I'm like, your problem is not your health anxiety, it's that you're bored.
Yeah.
You're bored as fuck. You're thinking about things that make you anxious. Your mind is a problem-solving machine. Creative people even worse. Creative people are problem solvers, right? Now, if we don't solve enough problems, if we don't keep our brain active enough, it's looking for problems all the time. So you've got to give it problems to solve, otherwise it'll fucking make them up.
Sizable problems as well. Like
yeah.
Something that lights
make them up.
Yeah.
I'm on my mission. now. I haven't got time to be anxious. I haven't shared this very often. In October last year, I was traveling to Warwick University to speak at an event, fitness event actually. And Alan Cosgrove was there, which was mad. I knew he was speaking, but I didn't think he was going to be that live. It was mad. It was my Brett Bartholomew and that was speaking. And on the way back, I started to create a huge panic in me. You know why? One, I was a little bit sick because I was struggling with the long COVID thing. So my body's clearly working hard, extra sweaty, heart rate high. That's anxiety. But my body's working hard because I'm sick. Probably shouldn't have went, but I promised I would. And then I wasn't prepared. I had nothing to do. There's nothing downloaded on my iPad.
Yeah.
I took no books, no magazines, didn't have any games. I thought it was a real reminder for me. I just had my phone. Guess what? On trains, particularly to fucking Birmingham, shit.
Nightmare.
I started panicking. Had to ring Leslie. Honestly, wanted to get off the train. I'm like, Leslie, I'm getting off. It was dark. I couldn't see outside. Started panicking. And it was just a reminder for me that I was completely underprepared.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You didn't have a strategy that you would normally have.
I didn't have anything to hold my attention.
Yeah.
So my attention naturally went, fuck. You're stuck on a train. You can't see when you're going to get off, how you're going to get home. My physiology's catching up with me because my body, I've just got off the stage. Fucking, I can always produce energy to speak. It didn't matter how sick I was still speaking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It didn't matter. Same as jiu-jitsu. I'll go when I'm sick. That's the problem.
Yep.
I'll go when I'm injured.
Yeah.
I'll find a way around it.
Yeah.
So I just started inventing this bullshit. Yeah. So there's anxiety in a nutshell. Handle your physiology, handle your attention. The third part is language.
Yeah.
The language part would be stop calling it your anxiety.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Anxiety. My anxiety.
Ownership.
I have anxiety. You don't have anxiety.
You
You create anxiety. Do you know what I mean? No one's born more anxious than someone else.
Yeah, Robbins
Yeah.
talks about changing it from like a noun to a verb. Like a noun is a descriptive word and a verb
Oh,
is a
does he?
doing. So like you'll say, people will say, I have
Yeah.
anxiety. That's like a descriptive versus a verb. I'm doing anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, is this a
Yeah.
set of behaviors and
Yeah, that's
physiology
really
that sits behind
Well, a
it?
lot of people don't get that. I'm like, Robinson's talk about this as well. Like, you have a strategy for creating anxiety. Most of the time, you just don't know what it
And
is.
it has a benefit. That
Yeah.
The downside is that what is the underlying benefit that anxiety you are creating is actually giving you?
Yeah. A lot of the time, some people get attention from it.
Mm.
I remember some people will be triggered by what I'm saying, but I remember I was.
Yeah.
I had a panic attack on a flight to Krebsy's wedding, which was in 2016. I was like, I need to get this fucking handled. I had fucking Xanax on the way back from his wedding, slept for fucking 11 hours because I took all of them. I wasn't supposed to. And then I remember a guy saying, you're anxious. I'm like, I'm not. I just have panic attacks. He's like, no, that's when your anxiety shows up the most. Or that's when you create
like a
anxiety.
low level anxiety.
And then it pops up at certain times. But yeah, it's not a superpower, but learning how to handle it has been game changer for me. Like, I now kind of look forward to flying.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I get to do work. Fucking hell, I get to watch things that I wouldn't normally get to watch.
And also, I think it's like connecting. You always say like attach meaning to something or attach like something that you give a fuck about.
Yeah.
So like you fly and is you getting to Dubai or you going to a place that you actually want to go?
Yes. Yeah. And I think that also, you got to think about this. If you're getting anxious before doing a talk, I'm just like, well, or before a fight or before a jiu-jitsu match, I'm like, that's my body giving me the energy that I need to fucking get it handled.
Yeah. It's
You know
not
what I mean?
necessarily a negative
Think
thing.
about this, right? Think about anxiety, right? It has its own heart rate, has its own level of energy. It also has its own fucking temperature.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Has its own temperature. So if I'm ever anxious, and let's face it, there is a little bit of nerves before I get on the stage, but I'm like, actually, it's the same feeling as an excitement, and it gives me a lot of fucking energy.
I think as well, like we're so broad scope with our emotions. Like I'm anxious, I'm stressed.
Yes.
But it's like, I've been working with a phenomenal guy. He's called Matt Gunn. And he'll be like, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sound. And you're like, no, like sit with that question for a second, close your eyes, tell me, how are you?
It's mad that,
like,
because I never asked that question.
nobody like, how are you right now? And like, if you actually sit there, I'd be like, I feel a bit anxious, but actually, like when I sit with them, like actually, I just feel a bit of energy.
Yeah.
I feel a little,
And there's so many ways. It's funny you should say that, because I was talking about this overthinking thing that I was talking about. And I see in the ad, created a sick ad for it. And I see in the ad, actually, overthinking could be described as loads of things. You could say stress is overthinking.
Yeah.
Worry is overthinking.
Yeah. Obsession.
Procrastination is overthinking.
Yeah.
Resentment is overthinking the past. Regret, overthinking the past. So there's many different words you can use to describe the same fucking thing. Aye.
Yeah.
It's a strange
So it's like
thing.
anxiety is like the broad stroke term, but like what is it? Because sometimes it's just like bubbly energy.
Stress, it could be worry,
You
it
have
could
a
be
coffee
excitement.
and you get a little bit like,
yeah, what are the
that-
jitters?
Yeah.
I'm like, I would never use that word.
yeah.
So there's a lot of words that aren't in my vocabulary. Toxic's not one of them.
No, I fucking hate
Toxic,
that word.
I'm like, I don't, it's a perception, it's not a
Yeah.
thing.
Labeling someone toxic.
Yeah. Toxic, it isn't a word that's in, what's the other word that people
If you
love?
spot it, you got it.
What's the other
You see it
thing?
in someone else, you have it in yourself.
What's the other thing? That people call certain types of people that don't have any empathy. What are they called?
Narcissists.
Narcissists. People love to use that one as well.
We all have that in us as well.
I'm probably one. I've got to, when people talk about, oh, wow, he sounds like a nice guy. Sounds like me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really believe that, but like, I'm like, the people that say that use the word toxic, narcissist, all that stuff, they're the ones that are saying it all the time. It's a real interesting thing. I'm like, these words just aren't in my vocabulary.
And also, they're words that have just come with Instagram, in
Popular.
my opinion.
Popular,
like they become
yeah.
like, you got to remember, like
Buzzwords.
there's an algorithm that sits behind and puts information in front of you. Like, and the more that you seek that information, engage with it, the more that you're shown it.
Yeah.
So
Is
it's like
that
the
why
same
when
thing.
I go into the search thing, hot birds keep coming up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why am I seeing hot birds in here? Like, you must have been looking at them, son. Let's admit, who the fuck's that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's Instagram recommending it. Well, why is that coming up on there? Clearly, I've been looking at hot birds at some point. Must be Max. Max must have me phone.
Yeah.
Anxiety handled.
Yeah. There you
What
go.
else you need?
What would you say? Like, let's do the overthinking thing because it's topical
Okay.
and you've got a product around it, and I think it'd be cool to.
So overthinking. I think there's two different, I meant to ask this on my Facebook today and I forgot. I think there's two different kinds of overthinking. There's overthinking about things that have already happened.
Yeah.
And overthinking things that
Past and
haven't
future.
happened. Yeah. So I think there's two things. I think a lot of people fall into both. But I'm like, if you're overthinking the past, usually, well, both of them, here's the thing. They're both a guess.
Yeah. Fiction.
Most of the things about the past, remember, the past is just the past. Your imagination fills in the gap and all of the meaning. So when I'm looking at the overthinking about the past, I'm like, what if you just looked at it from give it a different look? Because what the fact is the fact. It's it's the meaning that you add to it. It's what your imagination that is causing the problems for you.
Yep.
So if I'm feeling resentment for something or someone, it means I'm only seeing one side.
Or if you're feeling guilt or shame or
you're guessing why someone's done something.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of tools that look at the past. So that's just, what else could it mean? That's my main question. Okay, well, the fact is this, and it means this. That's what's causing the overthinking.
I have a situation
You're
right
trying
now.
to guess what it means. It could mean anything.
I have a situation right now that makes me feel uncomfortable that I'm sitting with. And it's because it's unknown and I'm guessing about what that situation is.
Yeah.
And
is that a past one or a current one? There's all sorts of it.
It's past, yeah.
It's all a guess.
It's like a what if.
Yeah.
Rather than a what is.
Yeah. And there's both sides of what if, and there's both sides of, there's two sides to everything. The place you got to get into, actually, I call it neutral, I call it being objective, but really it's loving what is.
Yeah.
It's loving what is. You can't love anything or anyone that you don't know both sides of.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, that people that you love the most, I'll guarantee that you'll be able to point out and highlight their negatives just as easy as you point out the positives.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where you've got to get to with the past, and it's also where you got to get to with the future. That's what I was saying about people keeping my feet on the ground. They're not really pulling me down. They're not trying to drag me down. They're not trying to drag me down. They're showing me both sides of the coin. So overthinking sometimes isn't a bad thing. Sometimes I could do with thinking a little bit more.
Yeah.
And also, I haven't even talked about this. What's the measurement for overthinking?
Yeah. What's the
metric? Are you just thinking?
Yeah.
Or are you overthinking? Or are you just weighing up both sides? Are you just
labeled?
researching? Or are you overthinking? So the deal is with, when I'm looking at overthinking the future, I'm just looking at both sides. What are the perceived potential payoffs? What are the perceived potential drawbacks? What are the perceived and what you'll see is that either way you're not going to die.
Oh, I'd tell you, and just thinking on that, it's taking someone out of overthinking into strategic thinking.
Yes.
It's like having a way to think. Like, people don't have an objective position to go, okay, I'm going to ask these questions.
And that's the word,
do this.
objective.
Yeah.
Objective means you know the potential upside, you know the potential downside.
Or a set of questions. Like you use
That's what I do.
you're using language. You're going, what are the potential upsides? What are the potential
I just say
downsides?
write them all down.
Exactly.
This is something, these exercises and anything that's to do with emotion, you've got to strip the emotion away, and you can't do that in your head.
Yeah.
You can't think your way out of overthinking.
Yeah, and it's
You
in your
can't
body. You
think
feel
your
it in
way
your
out of
body. Do you know,
anxiety.
like,
You just can't think about it. You've got to get it on pen and paper. You've got to get it out of your head, because your ego in particular will show you whatever pictures it needs to convince you that it's right. So you've got to expose it. And the way you expose it is on paper, and then you can start stripping away all of the fucking intense emotions around it and see it for what it is. It takes it from a problem and a horror movie to just a puzzle. And the great thing about puzzles is you can solve them.
yeah.
And what you'll see is the truth. And that either way, you
And the
know that
truth is
actually, do you know what? I can
sometimes-
handle all the upsides.
Yeah.
And guess what? I can handle all the downsides as well, because I'm not going to die.
And it's increasing.
I can
your
love it for what it
capacity.
is.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's kind of the same. And in this this book that I put together, this free little mini course that I put together, the two exercises are slightly different, but both of them, you have to do it on paper. You can't do this in your fucking head because, well, 95% of your thoughts are habitual.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
7,000
You're trying to
thoughts a
convince
day or
yourself
whatever.
of something that it's going to be very difficult to do that in your head, because your head will just keep showing you the same shit over and over again, and you convince yourself you're right. But when you get it on paper, you start being, actually, A, it's not that bad. B, I'm going to be all right.
Yeah.
C, actually, all I've got on paper is a fact. They're looking at the facts. If I look at the facts,
And D, I'm blaming someone for fucking shit that I have ownership over anyway.
it's the number one thing that I'm teaching in this coaching thing. The number one reason why most coaches can't make it work is because they're scared to ask those questions that get the client to take responsibility. Do you know what's mad? I got this fact today. Do you know in the personal development industry that was saying there's a 95% failure rate?
Mm-hmm.
This is mad. This blew me head off this. It's a 95% failure rate for the client and 95% failure rate for the coach. But then I found out this fact today from my coach, actually, and she was like, Paul, did you know that 95% of people who decide they want to make an income from coaching quit before they've actually been given any money whatsoever? So they don't just fail, then 95% of them never get any money.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Nothing.
Rather not do it than do it slowly or
Isn't that
badly.
mad? They don't get any money. Yeah. Isn't that mad? And out of the 5% that do make it, the average income 17.5 grand. And only 6% of those 5% that do make it make 6 figures. Isn't that mad?
And probably 0.5% make 7, if that.
The number blew me fucking head off.
I think...
I don't even think 0.5.
Yeah. And
I think less. Isn't that mad? Yeah. Crazy.
it's because people are unwilling to have a beginner's mindset.
So many
start with one client.
So many
do it
things.
for free first.
There's so many things that I spoke about. Why does it fail? I'm like, one, they don't work on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't work on themselves. They don't understand sales and marketing. They're scared to ask the hard questions. They're scared in general. And most of the time, they're not relatable. I wrote down 7 reasons and I can't remember what most of them were, but the 2 biggest ones were, in order for someone to hire you as a coach, they've got to think that time spent with you will empower them. But because you're not empowering yourself, people don't see time spent with you.
Yeah.
Live, laugh, love's not going to do it, mate.
No.
Your live, laugh, love quote's not going to fucking do it. And then the second one is that they don't understand sales and marketing.
Which ultimately is communication and psychology, which if you're a coach, you should have a really fucking deep level of understanding.
Without sales, there's
anyway.
no business, man.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is why nobody gets clients.
Yeah.
Be the world's greatest coach.
If no one knows who you are. Mate, I'm sure there's better coaches. I mean, not many. But I'm sure there's, do you know what I mean? I'm sure there's better coaches than me.
Well, yeah, there's some term.
There probably is some amazing people, but they don't understand sales and marketing, or maybe they just don't empower themselves
Or have
enough, so nobody knows who they
objective
are. Yeah, they don't know no one knows who they are.
They aren't. This is, and we'll kind of wrap up here because I know we're pushing time, but I think it's about. It comes back to being shown.
Yeah.
Like we've been exposed to so many things over a decade that sometimes you might even take it for granted. Like we've seen so many people.
I forgot I'd even went to that James Mann and Shaq's event, and at the time
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I learned a lot from it.
And you need signposts. You need people to be like, it's possible.
Yeah.
You need even Smith now. Like Smith was a client of yours, and seeing him like at almost 1 million followers, you're like, fuck, like he was there, and I showed him a path, and he continued it on, and now he's there, and I can get there too. It's just a signpost.
Yeah.
I think you've got to signpost a lot of
But you
things.
kind of got to get around them people as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The best way to network is to bring value to people.
People are like, will you come to me fucking... Someone said it was, will you be doing a live show in Liverpool? I'm like, fuck me. I'm doing it in London. It takes me longer to get there than it does you.
2 hour fucking
I said
train.
it takes me longer to get to London than it does you to get to London.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 30 fucking quid a ticket, mate. And people are like, how have you got this network? It's because I show up to things and I pay. Russell Kane's me mate, and I still pay to go to his gig.
Fucking right.
Do you know what I mean? James Smith's me mate.
Triggered
I'll
me
still
there. I was
buy
hoping for
tickets for
free
his
tickets.
show. Do you know what I mean? Like, Smith's me mate. I'll still buy 20 copies of his book.
Yeah, fucking right. Yeah.
Lucy Lord's me mate. HarperCollins, by the way, send me copies of their books for free, but I still fucking buy them because they're me network. They're not.
You support them.
It's what I do with everybody, and people don't want to do that because they see them as competition. A lot of the time that happens as well. They see people as competition. I've done that. I've been guilty of that.
I mean, we've had it
But have
over
I?
the years. Do you know
But
what
I'm
I mean?
like, fuck me. There's more than enough people to go around.
Jesus. As you used to say back in, there's
There's more than enough fat
for
people.
for everyone.
There's more than enough fat people for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's only getting worse. Yeah. Hey, mate, what a conversation.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was good.
Sick.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, mate. My
And
pleasure.
we
Thank you for
got
having me.
the Daisy Fresh camp tomorrow.
We have got the Daisy Fresh camp tomorrow. I've got an extremely sore hip flexor, but fuck it, I'll bit of 2 painkillers and a bit of Tiger Balm. I'll be good to go.
You'll be so-
A bit of
I'll
Tiger
rub it in
Balm.
for you in the
You
morning.
can rub it on my testicles. And then the match. I'm very
Fucking
much
match.
looking forward to the match.
Yeah.
Mate, I've got mad matches coming up. I've got that. So my goal this quarter, I wanted to go to 1 game that wasn't in League One.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Sorry, that was not League One or below, right? Because South Shields.
Yeah,
Kevin
Shields,
Phillips is South Shields manager.
Yeah.
Seen him running past my house the other day. I was like, is that fucking Super Kev?
We made
And it
Briggs-
was.
Briggsy play something.
I was going to go and get me photo take with him, but he's running too fast. So now I'm going to Liverpool tomorrow. On the 19th of March, I'm going to watch Villa Arsenal, and then on 3rd of April, I'm going to watch Rangers Celtic. There you go.
Sick.
Yeah,
Love it.
not doing things by halves. You know what I mean?
That's because
I'm
you plan
excited.
quarterly, my man.
Come on, the
Let's do it.
Scousers. Howie Liverpool.
On that note, I'm done.
Cheers,
Yes, brother.
Cheers, bro.
It's good.
Good shit.